A brand new immigration law has just been passed in the United States, and it's completely reshaping the green card process. If you've already submitted Form I-485 or you're planning to apply soon, your medical exam, form version, and vaccination records might already be outdated. USCIS has begun enforcing these changes immediately, and applicants who aren't updated are seeing their cases delayed or denied. One small mistake could cost you months, or your entire chance at permanent residency. If you want to avoid rejection, avoid reapplying, and stay on track, you need to understand these updates right now. This video could help protect your future and guide you through the new immigration landscape. Now let's break down exactly what this new immigration bill means for you. Passed on June 11, 2025, the legislation introduces major changes to how the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, USCIS, processes green card applications. These updates affect Form I-485 applicants, especially those currently adjusting their status from inside the U.S. Whether you're preparing to file, already waiting for approval, or assisting a loved one through this process, you need to be aware of the new rules. The most impactful changes involve the validity rules for medical exams, Form I-693, the removal of COVID-19 vaccination requirements, and strict enforcement of form additions. USCIS has made it clear. These updates are already active and apply to all new and pending cases. That means mistakes like using an outdated form or relying on an expired medical exam can result in delays or denials. Let's begin with the biggest and possibly most surprising update: the rules surrounding the medical exam form, Form I-693. Until recently, once your medical form was completed and submitted with your I-485, it stayed valid for up to 2 years, and even longer if USCIS didn't take action within that time. But under the new policy effective June 11, 2025, the I-693 is only valid while your Form I-485 remains pending. That means if your I-485 application is denied, withdrawn, or rejected, your medical exam becomes invalid, even if it was completed just weeks ago. If you want to continue with the immigration process after a denial or reapplication, you'll have to complete and submit a new medical form, with all the required tests and vaccinations again. This adds time, cost, and hassle to an already complex process. It also puts more pressure on applicants to ensure everything else in their case is perfect the first time. Always double-check your I-485 before filing to avoid having to redo your medicals later. Next, let's talk about COVID-19 vaccination requirements, which have been a major concern since 2021. In a major shift, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, officially removed COVID-19 from the list of mandatory vaccinations for immigration applicants on March 11, 2025. Following this, USCIS updated its own policies. As of January 20, 2025, the agency will no longer issue requests for evidence IFEs or notices of intent to deny NOIDs, only because of missing or outdated COVID-19 vaccine records. This is a big relief for many, especially those who had trouble accessing vaccines or had exemptions for medical or religious reasons. It also simplifies the preparation of your I-693 medical exam, since physicians will no longer check for or record your COVID vaccination history as a requirement. However, it's still important to note that other vaccines, like MMR, tetanus, and hepatitis, remain mandatory. Always consult your civil surgeon to make sure you're fully compliant with all current vaccination rules. Another critical update is about the version of Form I-485 that USCIS now accepts. Starting February 10, 2025, the agency only accepts the October 24, 2024 edition of the I-485 form. If you submit an older version, even by mistake, your application will be automatically rejected, no exceptions. This kind of rejection isn't just a technical problem. It could lead to lost priority dates, delay your case by months, or even require you to restart the process entirely. Many applicants, especially those using outdated templates from lawyers or websites, fall into this trap unknowingly. USCIS does not offer leniency on form additions, so it's your responsibility to download the latest version directly from their official site. Before you file anything, double-check the bottom left corner of your form. That's where the addition date is listed. This simple step could save you from an avoidable rejection and costly delays. On top of these form and medical updates, USCIS has introduced additional policy changes in June 2025 that could impact thousands of individuals. On June 4, 2025, new guidance was issued concerning TN visa eligibility under the U.S.-Mexico-Canada Agreement, USMCA, clarifying the professional qualifications required for Canadian and Mexican citizens applying under this category. Then, on June 5th, USCIS rescinded certain protections and processes previously used for stateless applicants, significantly narrowing who qualifies under that classification. These changes, although technical, reflect a broader trend of USCIS moving towards stricter enforcement and faster case adjudication. Many of these updates are being posted in real time to the USCIS policy manual online. If your case falls under any of these categories, it's essential to check whether the policies have changed recently. Ignorance of new rules is not an excuse in immigration law, and your case can be denied even if you were simply unaware. So, what does all this mean for people currently navigating the immigration process? First, you need to be proactive, not reactive. If your I-485 is pending, make sure your medical exam is still valid, and understand that it's only valid as long as your case is. If you're reapplying after a denial or delay, don't assume your old I-693 will still count. It won't. Second, check the edition of every form you submit, especially the I-485, to make sure it's the most recent one. Third, don't waste time or energy collecting COVID-19 vaccine records anymore. It's no longer required. But keep up with other vaccines to avoid new IFEs. And finally, monitor USCIS policy pages regularly. These new updates are coming fast and without much warning. A rule that applied last week might already be outdated today, and missing these changes could cost you months. Let's take a closer look at what you should do right now to stay compliant and avoid setbacks. First, if you've already submitted your Form I-485 and it's still pending, contact your attorney or check your USCIS account to make sure your medical exam is still valid. If you haven't submitted your medical form yet, don't delay. Even though it's now required only while the I-485 is pending, submitting it early helps avoid delays. Next, download all immigration forms directly from uscis.gov and verify the edition date at the bottom. Even trusted third-party websites can sometimes post outdated versions. Also, if your application was recently denied or withdrawn, don't reuse your old I-693. Book a new medical appointment immediately. Finally, make it a habit to visit the USCIS policy updates page every week. They now issue rolling updates and have even changed their structure for issuing guidance, meaning you might miss something important if you're not paying attention. Now, let's talk about the bigger picture. These updates are part of a broader movement in U.S. immigration policy toward tightening standards, streamlining workflows, and minimizing ambiguity in the system. While these changes can feel overwhelming, they also offer greater clarity for those who stay informed. For example, removing COVID vaccine requirements reduces red tape. Requiring updated form editions ensures consistency and reduces fraud. And the stricter I-693 rules mean that USCIS will move faster through valid cases, while cutting off incomplete or outdated ones. In a way, this is a challenge and an opportunity. Those who take the time to understand and follow the new rules will likely see faster processing and fewer issues. But those who ignore the updates or rely on old advice could face unnecessary delays or denials. Information is your most valuable asset, more than any lawyer or document. Stay alert, stay updated. If you're an applicant, sponsor, or someone working in immigration support, you need to make awareness your top priority right now. The USCIS is not giving any grace period. All changes mentioned today are already in effect as of June 2025. This means if you filed yesterday with the wrong form edition, your case might already be in jeopardy. It also means if your I-693 medical exam was done before your I-485 was refiled, you'll need a new one. Many applicants overlook the details, assuming everything is fine because it was okay last year. But immigration rules change quickly, and USCIS doesn't go out of its way to inform each individual. You have to take responsibility for checking updates yourself. Bookmark official USCIS pages, join reputable forums, or subscribe to legal newsletters that focus on immigration. Even better, consult a licensed immigration attorney if you're unsure about how these changes affect your specific case. To wrap things up, let's summarize what you must do moving forward. Always submit the October 24, 2024 edition of Form I-485. No other version is accepted. Make sure your Form I-693 medical exam is current and filed with your I-485, especially if your case is active. Don't worry about COVID vaccination. That's no longer a required part of the process. Stay updated with USCIS announcements, especially if you're applying under a unique category like TN visa or as a stateless individual. These updates may seem small, but each one can make or break your immigration journey. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, share, and subscribe so others can stay informed too. And if you have questions, drop them in the comments. We'll try to answer every one. Immigration is not just about paperwork. It's about precision, timing, and staying ahead of the curve. Thanks for watching, and good luck with your immigration journey.